We start a few miles south of Tiverton Junction as a Paddington to Penzance train approaches the site of Silverton Station, opened in 1867 and closed to passengers in 1964. The platforms were staggered either side of this bridge. To the north of the station, a private siding branched off to serve a paper mill between 1894 and 1967. The tracks are still there, even though the mill closed 20 years ago. The buildings have been demolished and the whole area has been turned into a wildlife haven. The next station is at Heel and Bradninch. It opened with the Bristol and Exeter Railway in 1844. One of the platform buildings and the goods shed remains, although the station itself closed to passengers in 1964. There was a paper mill nearby here too, and the sidings there were used until 1980. This is the site of the next station at Columpton. This also opened in 1844, but the station was enlarged in the 1930s when a 4-track layout was built so that trains could pass here. It's now the site of a motorway service station, although plans are afoot to reopen the station as part of the Devon Metro scheme. Passengers stopped catching trains here in 1964, but you can still see the old platforms over there in the bushes. And so to Tiverton Junction, where the station sign is still in place despite being closed to passengers in May 1986. Tiverton Junction is actually at Willand and was opened as Tiverton Road in 1844. It became a junction in 1848 when a branch line to Tiverton was opened. More on that later. Another branch opened in 1876 to serve the Colne Valley, and that'll be the subject of a later film. The station here, like Columpton, was enlarged in 1932 and is still a passing place on the main line today. In the museum at Tiverton, there are a couple of old signs. The branch line from here into Tiverton is largely disappeared under farmland. This is a site of Halberton Station, roughly halfway along the 4 3/4 mile long route. It opened in December 1927 and closed in 1964. The platforms were under this bridge. The track went over this field and then under the Grand Western Canal, where there's still an aqueduct. There were 13 daily return trips through here in 1949, and by 1961 some of them were going through to Exeter. Much of the line from here into Tiverton has been converted into a footpath. We're now approaching the junction where the branch met the line that ran northwards towards Dulverton, and a little further along the site of Tiverton Station, but there's not much left. It was demolished and a road and a builder's merchant now occupy the site, although the station signs and signal box sign are still in the town museum. This building on the site is probably of railway origin. In the nearby museum, there are lots of railway reminders, including the famous Tivy bumper. It was a Great Western Railway tank engine that pulled the single carriage or autocoach train to and fro along the branch. It was built in Swindon in April 1935 and withdrawn in May 1965. The engine was originally displayed outside after being purchased by Lord Amery, but was moved to the museum in 1978 to protect it from the weather. The locomotive was specially adapted, so it could be operated by the driver from a cab at the front of a passenger carriage. This meant the locomotive didn't have to be moved from one end of the train to the other at the terminus station, saving time and money. In my next video, we'll travel north along the Exe Valley line towards Tiverton. In the meantime, don't forget to check out my website and also have a look at some other videos on my YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.